As we've said earlier in the program, it's not about airlines, it's also about airports. We've chosen O.R Tambo International Airport as our base for this inaugural show and many other shows to come. This is to pay tribute to the country's liberation stalwart, the late Oliver Reginald Tambo.
On this occasion, the world is with us in support, guaranteeing that we shall win. Amanda!
The airport was renamed on the 27th of October 2006 after the African National Congress's former president. The organization will be celebrating its centenary in January. With O.R Tambo International Airport situated in the Ekurhuleni Aerotropolis, it's the biggest and busiest airport in Africa, with a plane landing or taking off every 2 minutes. They traffic 38.8 million people through these doors per annum. So keeping this airport in tip-top shape is no easy feat.
It's got to do with a lot of planning, a lot of stakeholder engagement, preceding people actually arriving here. So we focus a lot on actual planning in terms of what's going to happen, what resources we need from a people point of view, from a systems point of view, from an infrastructure point of view. And we then execute the plans on the day. But an airport being an airport, there'll always be delays, there'll always be something that doesn't go according to plan. And then what you try and do is to manage the exceptions, because the better airports do that very, very well. And the way we do that is through what's called collaborative decision making, that allows us to make the best decision when we do have an exception at that point for the whole airport community, not necessarily just for one particular entity.
Operations Head, Assistant General Manager Tebogo Mehwe, says performance is judged by how many aircrafts depart on time.
Where we're sitting in global standards is fairly high. We're sitting at over 85% on-time performance in terms of aircraft. In Europe, what you'll get is the late 70s, early 80s. In Asia, you get very, very high on-time performance statistics above 90. So more or less, that kind of gives you an indication of how well we're doing in terms of that. But you also then get, which for us is the rating that matters, you get rated by our passengers in terms of their experience of the airport and their perceptions of the airport and how well it's run as far as their experiences once they're here. And we as O.R Tambo for the last, I don't know how many years, but for the last 5 years, we've been in the top 5 airports consistently in terms of that within Africa. We've also, in that category of 15 to 25 million, been rated in the top 10 a number of times, globally speaking.
The efficiency is paying off. The airport has won numerous awards.
It means a great deal. It's almost a validation of some kind, but we also need to be humble enough to remember that it's a historical thing. You know, it's past. We have to constantly keep looking at the future to see where the passenger behavior is going, so that we make sure that those awards are still there in 5 years' time. You know.
As traffic continues to grow, requirement for improvement never stops. This airport was revamped not so long ago, but there are already plans for expansions in the future.
We work on traffic forecasts very long term, okay? And we put together what's called a master plan in terms of what future development is going to be there. So we look out 20, 30 years out, and we kind of have a feel and what land are we going to need, where we're going to develop next, and what's going on. In terms of that type of capacity, we still have some way to go. In terms of what we've currently got is still going to give us quite a number of years of an ability to process passengers efficiently. Now, it doesn't mean we're not planning. We've got pictures of what this place is going to look like in 2035, in 2040 as well.